Oh my
All right.
god.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
friends.
We're back. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles again tonight. We're on the final case. I don't know. It's scary. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
think you
what's
made
going
us
to happen.
leave on a cliffhanger on purpose.
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to time it better where we actually do leave on cliffhangers and it's not just like, okay, well, we're talking about this now. Because I figure then people want to come back, right? Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd
Yeah,
think
tune
so.
in next time.
All right, who
I would
wants to
think
start
so.
introductions?
Oh, well,
I'll go.
Lemur did it last. Or do you want to do it first,
for it.
Lemur? Go for it.
No.
Wow. Okay, I'll be quick. Hello, my name is Manabingu. I am a resident voice actor. I do things like voice the prosecution, but this time he is the defendant. His name is Von Zeeks. I also voice Herlock Shelves, the pretty competent detective, and then and then his assistant Iris, and the judge for now. Yeah, that's me.
Yay.
Hi, hello. My name is Lemur. I read for Susato,
Mhm.
Gina,
Mhm.
random side character. I hate that we have to keep calling him Seaman.
See, man.
Are you talking?
The real buff guy from
Wow.
last time, which I probably will never get to see again.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about
Um,
chicken?
Chicken.
Yes, chicken. Thank you. I couldn't
I
remember
love
what meat
chicken.
he was.
I forgot what he was. It's crazy. Chicken, yeah. A poultry.
You have Kazuma. I keep waiting for Kazuma.
KAZUMA. I keep forgetting. I was like, what the fuck is his name? I almost called him, what's the Pokemon? Articuno?
Articuno, yeah!
I was like, that
My
Articuno looking
boy!
motherfucker. I couldn't remember KAZUMA to save my life. I think that's it. I'm sure there's more. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
It'll be a fun surprise for everybody.
Exactly. And hi, I'm Kels. I am your player one, so I have the controller. You're watching me. And I play Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I play the bailiff, who is in the style of Elmo. And most recently, I played Susato's dad in the Breakaway, which was kind of fun. So I just basically play any point of view character. All right, let's recap and get back into it. All right, so the metal fragment stuck to Gregson's trunk was the evidence placing KAZUMA on the grouse when he died because it's the broken tip of Karuma. Which, let me just point out, he had that sword back for like 2 minutes and has already broken it. We held on to it for like a year and a half. Obviously, I shouldn't have given it back.
Correct.
KAZUMA admitted that he and Gregson went to the grouse on an assassination mission, though he says he killed no one. They waited when Jigoku wasn't in the cabin, and KAZUMA eventually left and went to the boarding house. KAZUMA then claimed that he and Gregson worked for the Reaper, and the Reaper shot Gregson for failing him. KAZUMA claimed that his sword tip is irrelevant to the case, and the trial paused so that we can look for the missing Jigoku, and in that time we pulled the Sholmes doll's ears. Sholmes doll, yes. I said that right. Sholmes doll's ears. The rabbit.
The rabbit.
It activated a communicator to the real Sholmes, who was investigating the grouse cabin with Eugene. Chicken Stroganov blocked the door. Chicken said that Jigoku left in an emergency and Eugene had to distract him. The ankle did absolutely nothing. But pulling the fire alarm does it every time. They investigated the room and found ice, his wardrobe, and a case. Sholmes and Eugene did a competent dance of deduction that exposed Chicken was helping Jigoku hide in the trunk whilst covering a bullet hole. They figured out how to open the trunk, and Jigoku admitted that he was hiding from the Reaper. Then they served him a subpoena to get off the ship and come to court and got a mysterious device. When trial resumed, we called for Jigoku to testify, even though they thought he was dead, so we gotta wait for tomorrow so he can come back. Our Jaina Menace count is 13, our racism count is 19, our Hallow Chalice count is 3. And we should be allowed to keep Karuma at the end of the game. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like, give
It's
him
ours
back
now.
to me. All right. The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. All right, 3rd of November, 8:07 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Holy crap. Has Iris been cooking? Like, that looks like a full, like, chicken dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn. They cooked chicken?
Yeah,
Is he
poor
in
chicken.
that? Poor chicken. He became a meal. Damn. Anyway, we have returned, my dear fellows.
Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help.
Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I, no?
You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier.
Yeah, so this prosecutor Azuki had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say?
Best friend, lover. On the ropes, tied up with ropes.
Whoa!
Tomato, tomato.
It's
Well,
crazy.
he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed.
Brain injury.
Yeah,
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
he's just spent the year and a half, the last year and a half, hanging with the absolute fucking worst people we know. So, you know, there's also that. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin.
Well, nevertheless, wow. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse.
When all this started, almost a year ago. Oh, sorry, it's not even been a year. I keep saying it's a year and a half for some reason. So he just spent like the last 11 months hanging out with the worst people we know. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie.
Now then, I must say it's really quite a journey all the way to France.
Well, it is another country, Mr. Films. So, what news of Judge Jigoku?
Well, we took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man.
Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him.
Oh yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home.
What is it? Susato be disowning everyone in her family at this point and adopting her new half-sister Iris. Look, you can't trust anyone but the young girl that we love.
Wow. Surely you have forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. You put up on me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well.
Oh, you had a reply already?
What was so urgent, though, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Well, that's good news because supper is ready, everyone.
Ah, and what a feast it is! If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were there won already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding. Ooh. Oh yes,
Yeah.
my mouth is watering.
It'll be a very long day, so eat up.
Eat up, you will not be getting any food until you win the trial tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think I'll seat myself just there. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well.
sorry, Hurley. Not there.
Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening?
Yes. And that place is for Susie's daddy.
Well, for me.
That's right. I made this especially for you, Professor Mickey.
Professor Mickey. Haha! I see! Well, that's terribly kind of you! Sorry.
Monkey Mouse in the chat now.
I think you should go back to your regular voice, sir. It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
For a brief moment, I believed it. That he was really Mickey Mouse, but that Susie and I were half sisters,
So you're not?
Oh.
Oh shit. Oh?
Iris, do you mean?
Peasant stroganoff, oh my god.
Yes! I know now. I overheard it yesterday. I secretly listened into the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left.
What?
My daughter,
And we're
everyone.
We're cooked. We're cooked.
The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Thank God. We didn't kill her dad. I was still a little worried they were going to hit us with, yeah, it was actually Dr. Wilson, and then we were going to have to explain it to her.
Oh yeah. That would have been unfortunate.
I didn't want that.
Yes, well, about that, Iris. You know, I
am secretly your father?
I am your father. Okay.
You can't tell me at the moment.
Oh, Iris.
The visit is by a way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh, well, no, that's quite all right. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant?
Because you're Hurley.
Yeah. So just who is Iris's father? Look, you get pheasant when you tell her who her father is.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
a second before.
Damn, you gotta earn that shit.
Exactly. I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today.
So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. I like pheasant. Anyway, a fine idea, Sholmes. I'll eat it right in front of your face and savor every moment. It all looks absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you'd like. There are always seconds. Except for Hurley.
This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan, and about KAZUMA. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Exactly. Sholmes isn't her real father. Well, or he is her real father, not by blood, but in the ways that matter. Sir, why are you sitting like that?
Because he doesn't get pheasant. He's in timeout. Oh, he angry.
Mr. Sholmes? What are you doing?
Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless.
Are you 5?
Yes. I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
Even though I played the role of father to you for so far longer.
Mr. Sholmes, you leave this 10-year-old in your apartment all the time. I don't think you're doing great father stuff. Could I discuss some things with you? Are you maybe feeling open and vulnerable so that you'll tell me more?
Certainly, my dear fellow, I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. To remind me of my pheasantless. It's like being maidenless, but pheasantless, you know. Like, no doubt you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game.
I can probably contain my curiosity on that one.
You needn't look at me in that fashion.
In what fashion?
It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather pheasant matters to discuss.
And that stream.
Yeah.
That's asshole. Alright, let's start with the telegram from Japan.
I thought it was clever.
Yeah, I know you did. So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then?
Oh, well. This. I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated duplicate fellows. K. Asugi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
What? What? Those 4 names. We've come across that exact same list before.
Sure.
They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. The one I have already forgotten. Which case are we talking about? Oh, that one. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Exactly. It was the case where we confessed our love to Susato before she went home. That is the only thing we care about here.
Real.
Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, well, I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names neared by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature.
Okay, but why did it need my name on it?
Yeah, why?
You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you?
And in my name? I wonder what guise he opted for this time.
Well, my dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand? Anyway, the list of names was found in Seijiro's office, as Sholmes predicted.
So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was...
It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient.
I don't believe it.
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies.
I
Hmm.
sat here for a second going, obviously at the sign of the 4, and then remembered that obviously they don't know what the sign of the 4 is because Sherlock Holmes doesn't exist in their universe because they have this fucker instead, and Iris writing those. So
I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it.
Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. All right, we
I
have a
actually know
telegram.
how to do my job, thank you very much. Contrary to popular belief.
All right, let's talk about Kazuma's death. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria, it was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. Just bit my lips so hard right there.
I
Ow.
took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost.
What?
I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan.
His remains, you mean?
Precisely, Miss Usato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead.
Oh my, you mean...
The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asugi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least.
Okay, well, you did a really shitty job of that because he seems to be here now.
Yes.
Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma from coming to Britain? That's why you...
Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England?
Man, anyone remember who was Hosonaga? That was only 5 million years ago.
I think it was me.
Take it.
The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Asugi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
Okay, but where are we gonna find one of those?
But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
So, you manipulated me!
I've often remarked on an extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend.
I don't believe it! Exactly. Also, were we wearing these clothes when that flashback happened? Don't remember that.
We're not.
But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her?
Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought.
I seem to remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her.
Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure.
I wonder if she made it to America then.
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. My lady brain is too fragile.
My lady friend. What?
Ah.
Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain?
Vibes were off.
The truth is, 12 months ago,
I had a dream.
yes, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see.
Oh.
I just realized, why is there a shoe in the cabinet?
On the mantle?
On the, yeah, like upper right of the mantle, like right next to my head.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
what
there's a
the
shoe on the
hell?
mantle
There's just
too,
a
the
shoe
little
up
red
there.
curly
Yeah.
shoe.
That is so random. Just a
Got a
shoe.
couple of shoes then.
Do you guys not know what a shoe rack is? Like, you don't have to put your shoes all in these random ass places.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Sholmes.
It
He
is,
probably
yeah,
doesn't
that's
know.
fair.
It's pretty
An
feral.
omen that at this very moment in time is close at hand.
An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand? We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Okay, so chat asked if we shouldn't investigate the telegram, so let's take a look. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson, Hosonaga.
Aw. Daddy.
That's it.
I
don't know. Let's start presenting shit. Hey, let's talk about this telegram. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched. So, you obviously knew that that's where the list of names would be found.
A. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson.
But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked.
That's true, yes, but at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, these 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year, in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because, after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments.
Sir, I'm pretty sure that is a federal crime. You're perpetually doing what? How?
With my ears, my dear fellow, with what else would I do? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes. When he has designs and knowing it. What?
Kat said, did we examine the device? The
Not yet.
device that Sholmes and Eugene got from the grouse. Okay. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes. What a fabulous line.
Susato is now the time.
No. Oh, now, 1 month after the list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered.
Oh,
What a shame. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow.
Mr. Sholmes, please tell us tell us all you know. Tell us all about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected.
alright.
The 4 names.
We'll talk about it in just a second, but we are going to look at this little small component first. You see these little things all over the place, don't you? It's the part on the top of a pocket watch that you twist to set the time, isn't it?
It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one.
The crown? Like, what sits on top of a monarch's head? That's a very grand name for such a tiny part. But actually...
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo?
if this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here somewhere with a very bare head.
If by monarch you mean pocket watch, then I'm quite sure you have.
Alright, and that looks like the only thing to investigate on it. So let's see if the pocket watch we currently have in our... What do you think, Mr. Zato?
I feel sure I know exactly what will fit there, or fit here.
Really? I was just thinking precisely the same thing! Oh my god, bestie!
We're about to see the little round... see that little round component is actually part of Inspector Gregson's broken pocket watch.
Really? I was just thinking precisely that too!
Same brain. Ooh.
Ah.
Perfect fit.
I knew it! Alright. Perhaps you knew it.
Yeah, give credit where credit is due.
I'll make note of this new information at once.
Alright. But we can't wind the watch, so... Alright, now let's ask about the names.
As I said when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names because, you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased.
What? Who?
Eishin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script, in actually fact, Miss Asa Shin.
I was wondering why it was only a single N there, but that makes sense.
Or Asa Shin, to be sure. There was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known amongst London's unsavory classes.
Oh, I see.
But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list.
Kei Asogi and T. Gregson.
Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Briggs and myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asugi were to stay away from Britain.
Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead.
Exactly.
So, you already knew who KAZUMA-sama was, Mr. Films.
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I'd recounted many tales about Asugi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
Mr. Wilson is dead then.
Well, this is a hell of a way to tell her.
Shit.
I didn't know.
Oh, Iris.
I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad.
I'm so sorry, Iris.
I'm so sorry. The rest of us have known for a year.
Shit.
We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you.
No, it's alright.
But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis.
A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh yes. You mean about assassin, I presume?
Oh, of course.
Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of the fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel.
Ah,
And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypotheses that I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy-turvy.
What? Topsy? Alright, let's talk about the Topsy hypothesis. What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? Yeah, exactly. She wasn't killed, right? Well, about that.
I believed all 4 names on the list were to be names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Assassin was a killer. I mean, it's in her name. It's like a pun or something. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers. Is it? Oh, indeed. And it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Miss Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front.
Oh,
which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions.
so the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Assassin is because he was the target of an assassination.
And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, does it not strike you there is another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student?
Wait, you mean...
But of course, a name you know only all too well.
You mean... KAZUMA?
Oh,
Shit.
He did say in court earlier today.
yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission.
The mission was...
assassination of the mark.
Young Mr. Asuki accepted that mission a year ago now.
Clearly not.
In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say. An assassin exchange.
An assassin exchange? How could KAZUMA possibly have gotten involved in something like that? Because he wanted to know what happened to his father. And the British government would know that.
Let's assume that we have two parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those two parties make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange.
So, to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then, the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange.
It's almost like he was practicing his katana for something. I just thought it was to look hot.
Yeah!
I'm sorry if I
Fuck.
respect the art of charisma. And by charisma, I mean looking cool when holding a sword. Like,
it was sword riz.
Exactly. Like, you cannot... There is no higher level of riz than standing there with a sword. Like, sorry. It's true.
It's very true.
But what on earth is the point?
Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction. Thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by the consular jurisdiction.
Oh, yeah.
Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the newly treated between our two countries. Treaty, sorry. So the fact that it was brought into place suggests intervention at the very highest levels.
The highest levels?
These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That's a disassociation and the safeguard of the diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It means Asuki's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What? KAZUMA was here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark?
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
He's still waiting for the rest of us to get it.
I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe.
Mr. Sholmes.
I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow.
Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition, that he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him.
But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last.
This is too much to take in. What if my head just exploded and I died right here? This is the end of the game.
Everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Harley? I mean, look at the time.
Oh, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow.
What preparations?
Oh, well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember.
It is a little bit sad, though.
Hmm?
I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Cece would have been my big sister.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Also, chat just pointed out, so Jigoku says to Kazuma just before the verdict in the first case, in the first game, and do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. That was only 600 years ago that we played that, but shit, they set us up all the way back then.
Yeah, it's probably more helpful when you play these games a little bit more consistently.
Yeah.
And don't take years.
800 years to finish them. I'm sorry, Iris. Suzato can still be your big sister. It's fine.
Exactly.
I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing.
Aw.
Were you?
If somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister.
Aw.
You...
It's really...
Oh yes, without question.
Exactly. I can be even better than your big sister. I will be your new mother. We are taking you back to Japan.
You teach me all the ways you know how to throw Ryuno on the floor.
Is that why you want her to be your big sister?
Yes, that's the only reason.
Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure.
You didn't have to agree quite so readily.
Ow.
Oh, wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want to, Ryuno.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother.
Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well.
Oh god, this man.
Who?
Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally.
Oh,
I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister.
Aw. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
Prepare for trouble. Make it double to protect the world from You'll just have to wait and see.
Are you building me another rabbit doll that I can pull the ears of? Just asking for a
Yes.
friend.
I need another robot.
Oh.
Well, good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. So we can get them big bucks and pay my rent.
I'll do my very best, of course. Look, Von Zeeks is stacked, so
Yeah, we
need to be charging him like the high bucks, the very high fees.
Oh yeah, especially since our judge is Judge Strongheart.
Well, and he's a little bit of an asshole still to us, even though we're representing him. Exactly. Be mindful of feelings, Iris. For example, the rumbling of my pheasantless stomach. So, the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths while posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Look at my friends. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Aww.
No.
They invented ye old cell phone. Now they're building ye old FaceTime.
We'll FaceTime. Let's go.
We've hit a to be continued very early.
Mm.
All right. We, of course, will be saving. Trial part 2. That's scary. All right. 4th of November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, we don't even get to talk beforehand.
We just go straight into
We're
it.
just going,
Shit.
yeah. Balls to the wall here.
Before we begin today, a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice. And the discovery that a respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake the trial with the resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end.
Resolve? Yes. That's my intention.
My lord, if I may inquire. The defendant may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Asugi permitted to continue in his role as prosecutor?
On the grounds that we don't have another prosecutor to be able to draw because you're on the defendant's, stand, and otherwise we have to ship someone else in from Japan.
Damn. He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution.
I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day.
You did what?
In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has been leading to this one day.
Kazuma.
Whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper.
Kazuma is bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're heading into very dangerous territory.
Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us?
Yeah, he's still hot.
Look,
As
now
an
we know
ex-
he was actually killing people, like he was actually an assassin. So, I know I said he was a 9 last time, but if he actually did assassinate someone, he's back up to a 10, possibly an 11. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh my god. As an extreme exception to normal practices, I have granted this prosecution's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume.
Yes, my lord.
In that case, In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again.
We have talked so much about the Queen. Every single one of these cases. When do we get to see the fucking Queen?
Yeah, when's she coming? Damn.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. We resume the closed hearing of Barak von Zeeks.
The defense is ready, my lord.
The prosecution is more than ready.
Very well, then, this preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Asugi, begin!
As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Bring Seishiro Jigoku, good lord, into the courtroom.
At last, then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now in order to get to the truth. Come on, Ryunosuke. It's time for that steely resolve, because this is going to test it to the limit. Every once in a while, I get to be like a shonen protagonist, and then they like just take all that energy away so we can have some more exposition. Like, come on.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
God, I forgot how hot he is.
You're looking respectfully.
I'm looking very respectfully.
Or disrespectfully, too. That's okay. Jigoku was Lemur, I believe.
Okay, I was like,
I
don't
know
remember.
it wasn't me, so.
So it was you who issued this, was it? Your subpoena. I did what was necessary. Well, look, what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you'd take that tone with me, I must say.
Witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked.
My name is Seishiro Jigoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan. 16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I am of course fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country. I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
It was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my all into that treaty.
Judge Jigoku, I must ask.
Well, I never fancy the young murdering student turning up here of all places.
I didn't murder anyone!
Guy, that's not helpful.
You acquitted me yourself. And now I'm a practicing defense lawyer.
Yes. And full of self-importance, like your friend across the courtroom, I see. Get him?
You came to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France.
Took flight? I'd have to object to that turn of phrase.
I forgot how fucking annoying it is to cross-examine any of the lawyers.
Yeah.
Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances?
Well, I was somewhat expecting this, and I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment.
Then
The
what are
fuck?
you here for?
You're our key witness, you bitch!
What?
Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette. It's none of your business. But my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify.
Unrelated, you say?
I just decided that I was really homesick.
I appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him.
Wow.
As such, I am in no position to testify. It's as simple as that. So you would run from all this? I beg your pardon? This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. This ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now. A year ago in Japan. The murder of John H. Wilson, you mean?
That's right. And you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Are we going to present evidence that we definitely got illegally? Like, I don't think there is any way, shape, or form that the telegraph that was stolen out of his office is going to be accepted in court.
Not with that attitude.
I don't see this happening.
No, with that attitude.
Clearly.
Hold on, sorry, my eyes leaking, so I can't read at the moment. Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end, too. Let's see your evidence, then.
Shit. The telegram?
I feel like
What
it
proof
could
do
be
you have
either
of
one.
Sushiro?
I mean, we
Yeah.
figured out that it was in his cabin.
Mhm.
We're gonna go with that one.
Oh,
What on earth is that?
Look at this tiny little thing. It's proof. This piece of evidence is a welcome present to the courthouse with the compliments of the defense.
you have poor grasp of British court etiquette, counsel.
Well, fuck all of you. I don't know how it doesn't show that he's involved.
That's the extent of your resolve?
It was in his fucking suitcase.
Oh my god. Rigged! I call rigged!
You disappoint me, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
God damn it. Damn.
Stand tall, Mr. Naruhodo. That was a minor blow.
Having your best friend tell you he's disappointed in you really stings, though. But of course, we have evidence that ties Judge Jigoku to this case. Evidence showing a few key names, even. Well, if that's the one you want, then tell me that's the one you want.
But there's still plenty of fight in your eyes.
Yeah. Evidence. Blah, 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 blah. Take that! This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: K. Asugi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. He does not look happy.
You little...
I didn't even do anything. Leave me alone.
What?
Oh,
Oh, he's angry.
where did you get that?
That's pretty hot.
It is hot, but also, he's like way too close to me for me to think that's that hot. Because of how close I have to sit. In Tokyo, from your office, Judge Jigoku.
What? How on earth did you... What's this all about? Why is my name on that list?
What, do you think you're the only Kei Asogi in the world?
No.
This list of
Probably
4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. Kei Asogi and A. Shin are the names of assassins.
Yeah.
No.
A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brandt. But her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain.
Shin and her victim, J. Wilson.
And the murder that just took place here in London was the counterpart to that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, KAZUMA Asogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson.
J. Asogi and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other.
What exactly is the defense suggesting?
These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. And the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill.
Jeez.
Exactly. You can't prove that K stands for Kazuma, though, so haha.
Oh man. Yeah, it could be for kibbles and bits. So.
There you go. It's clearly Kibbles and Bits Asogi. You've solved the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, kibbles and bits Atsugi.
Oh.
You know, my favorite.
The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you.
Sheesh.
Judge Jigoku, what is this all about? Bitch?
Bitch.
And you, Kazuma, you lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you'd accepted the assassination mission. But the mark wasn't Judge Jigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on the killing contract.
Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie.
Huh.
The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday.
Really?
The idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you.
A lie of omission is still a lie. I hate to tell you this, man.
That's not how it works, bro.
I love how he's like, okay, but I didn't lie because you just made shit up and I didn't correct you.
Yeah.
You deliberately avoided saying a name? Can we roll the ye old CCTV footage and double check that claim?
CCTV. The defense claims that these 4 names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself?
His silence only goes to prove his guilt.
Silence is loud.
There's another very important point that has new developments that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was the witness's cabin aboard the SS Grouse.
Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse would put you in contempt of court. I mean, to be fair, I don't know that contempt of court is a bad way to go here, because otherwise he's being accused of murder. But
There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then. As a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know. Wow, what a nice present.
It seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear.
this esteemed
But
Japanese gentleman who I have never communicated with before until now.
Exactly. About the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of 31st October. Present your formal testimony now.
As you wish, my lord.
Alright, the assassin exchange.
It's true that Kazuma Asogi was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was a condition of the British study tour. However, in the end, something happened that meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times.
Are you going to slander Chicken's poor name?
If there had been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved.
So, you admit it then. As this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan.
A political endeavor at the highest levels. Not something I can discuss here. Use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder. The most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Her little power sentence there, she's so cute.
I love her. Best girl.
She was just like hands on hips, like, I know this man is like twice my size, but you know what? I'm going to scold him anyways.
Very dare
Disappointed in
you.
you.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
There you go.
Appalling. Well, it's easy to judge. Pardon? Asogi had a reason for taking his sword to that British inspector, you know.
What?
Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Council?
Shit.
Kazuma-sama.
Judge Jigoku, if you are the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain.
I'm not obligated to divulge that information.
Huh?
As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, the assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case. The crucial point is this. Your police inspector can't have perished aboard that steamship in Dunkirk. Because if he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it. Conceivable. That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Barak von Zieks. Prosecution's accusation remains unchanged.
Yeah, now that he's throwing Kazuma under the bus for killing Gregson, I'm with you, chat. I do think Jigoku probably did it himself. In some way, shape, or form. Like, I don't think Kazuma did it. I think he's telling the truth that he backed out.
Mana just texted their internet died.
Oh no!
So that's where they went.
All right. I'll take strong heart for now then.
Okay.
To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealings. Clearly, it's a plot only a government minister and high-ranking judge, such as the witness, could hope to execute. Not me, of course. I would never do something like that.
Well, I seem to recall that someone on the British side who controlled everything.
Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, counsel? Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. Alright, let's do some cross-examination.
It's true that Kazuma Asogi was assigned the assassination mission a year ago now. 1 year ago.
A year ago? When Kazuma was still in Japan, then?
Correct. It was at the examination center for applicants for the study tour that I approached him. I'll never forget it. I remember exactly what you said. You just came out and asked me forthright if I'd consider traveling to Britain on an assassination mission. What a wild thing to just drop on somebody.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs... Like, how do you even do that in your mind? Like, okay, you know, the Minister of Foreign Affairs just asked me to go on a study tour to assassinate someone.
Uh-huh.
How does this not seem like a trap?
Surely not. I thought it was a joke at first, of course, but then it was made clear to me that if I didn't accept, I wouldn't be considered for the study tour.
So you agreed to it? Just for that? I mean, I know how much you wanted to study in England, but assassination?
The Empire of Japan had accepted a proposal from the British Empire at the time. An agreement to send a student from each country to the others to deepen cultural understanding and friendship. Behind the scenes, the chosen students were to be given an assassination mission. I had no choice but to accept the proposal that originated from my British counterpart. Why? Why didn't you expose the plot there and then?
Oh, there is some dirt we're gonna dig up here. Britain acknowledges no part in these alleged misbegotten dealings. Of course you don't. I advise you not to make spurious allegations, Foreign Minister Jigoku.
As a witness, I am bound to tell the truth, my lord. Anyway, I picked Asogi, and he explained the details of the plan to him. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was a condition of the British study tour.
Why Kazuma? Why did you pick him as the assassin?
He was the most capable of all the applicants. And in addition, I knew his desire to travel to Britain was very strong. In fact, it was almost more than a desire. It was his whole purpose in life.
Yes, as his best friend and lover, I can certainly attest to that. The way he threw himself into his studies, the way he pursued becoming qualified as a lawyer, it was all ultimately for that one single goal of being accepted on a study tour to Britain.
And of course, we know the reason behind that. He was determined to find out for himself the truth about his father, Genshin Asogi. There's nothing I wouldn't have done to get here. Be that agreeing to assume the role of an assassin, or betraying people's trust. Well, you certainly did a fine job of betraying mine, Asogi.
But why was Inspector Gregson the target?
I have no idea. Those were the orders from Britain. I was in no position to question them. You have no idea? Really? I find that hard to believe. Oh, do you? Judge Jigoku was once a visiting student here from Britain himself, of course. Perhaps he has some connection with Inspector Gregson from that time. The defense really ought to catch up. Bitch, shut up.
With what? The Times. The Times, Ryunosuke.
With the fact that the assassin exchange has absolutely nothing to do with the case under scrutiny here. Yes, I've already admitted to recruiting Asogi.
Jigoku, like I saw how pathetic your desk slam was in court. No way was I giving you the assassination mission. Rude.
However, in the end something happened that meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission.
I presume you're referring to the incident that occurred during Kazuma's passage to Britain in January? The awful tragedy that took place on the steamship.
Word arrived in the ministry some 2 weeks after the ship's departure from our shores. The visiting student had been killed, but his body had somehow gone missing in Hong Kong. The news was wired to me from a detective I'd placed on the ship to accompany the assassin.
Look, if there's anyone who's betraying anyone's trust, it's Hosonaga. Like, this man is everywhere. He answers to no one because he answers to everyone. Obviously, Kazuma didn't actually die at all, but he did lose his memory, including all the details about his special mission. Was that a lie too? I need to know. Did you not consider dispatching another assassin at that point?
That wasn't possible. Simply because that black-clad young student over there had already put himself forward as Asogi's replacement.
Whoops. Are we talking about me?
And there's no way to stop him from reaching Britain. My hands were completely tied.
And he was still unsatisfied with our desk slam, so knew we weren't gonna get anywhere there.
So Mr. Shelm's strategy worked perfectly.
He predicted everything that would happen.
Months later, my memory returned. I'd never intended to go through with the assassination mission anyway.
There we go, exactly. What black-clad student? I'm wearing blue. It's a fetching shade of navy.
So you were playing me right from the outset, were you? Is that it? I'd sooner be guilty of that crime than taking someone else's life.
I love him. Look, he's done bad things here, but also he's just over here like, you know what? I'm gonna flaunt this in front of the fucking Minister of Foreign Affairs, my best friend, and my current boss. Like, fuck all of you.
I was prepared to do whatever I had to in order to get to Britain, or to get myself here to Britain.
This line of questioning has gone on long enough. All the court should be concerned about in the testimony given by this witness are details relating to his relationship with Inspector Gregson and the victim's murder.
In that case, as I've already made perfectly clear, I had no connection to the man or his death.
And you have some means of substantiating this plea?
On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times.
Outside your cabin in the first-class area of the SS Grouse, you mean?
Yes, that's right. Not least because there was a murder of a student passenger early in the year, I imagine. The liner operators have taken to posting a crewman outside every first-class cabin door. I can confirm the presence of the crewman guard myself.
What do you mean?
Because I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk that night, I witnessed it with my own eyes. There was a well-built crewman standing guard directly in front of the door to the witness's cabin.
Are you looking at other men, Kazuma?
At that particular time, of course, I'd gone to the ship's dining room for dinner. The inspector and I asked the crewman to allow us into the cabin while we waited for Judge Jigoku's return.
I suppose Inspector Gregson was there in his capacity as the Reaper. He was intending to take the witness's life.
Exactly. As I've said numerous times now, I had no intention of killing anyone.
I'm so sorry for continuing to accuse you of assassination, considering the fact you accepted an assassination contract. I'm sorry that I had that misconception. So the crewman let 2 potential assassins into the cabin he was supposed to be guarding? Not the most convincing of sentries, really.
You leave Chicken out of this.
Slandering
Chicken's doing his best.
Good name.
In truth, those are my thoughts, too. But anyway, I stayed to talk with Inspector Gregson for a short while. And then I left him there, and made my way off the ship alone.
Was the guard still at the door when you went?
Yes. He glared at me as I walked past.
He just thought a
That's
really
just
weird
chicken.
threesome was happening.
That's because chicken needs glasses.
Yeah.
You see, that proves it. Hold on, let me take a couple of sips of a liquid.
No liquids. Only reading.
Talking so much.
No.
I'm just doing my little best. If there'd been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved.
The crewman who is standing directly outside your cabin door, you mean?
That's right. A muscular man with a permanent grim expression on his face. He just needs glasses. He didn't once move from that spot. To be honest, I thought he was a miserable fellow. But as it happens, he's a vital witness now.
Call Chicken to the stand.
There's no doubt that Gregson was killed by a gunshot. It's inconceivable that a crewman standing just outside the cabin door wouldn't have heard that. But wait, what about the ship's enormous steam engine? The noise of them could have drowned out the sound of the gun being fired. Leia, are you okay? Yeah, she's fine. Okay, sadly, young judicial assistant, that won't wash. Oh. You'll recall that my cabin was in the first class area of the ship, which also, of course, the quietest. Don't imagine for a moment that it's anything like steerage where the judicial assistants go. Oof.
Damn.
I didn't mean...
But a hole like that made by a bullet was found in your cabin, Judge Tsugoku. That's compelling evidence that a gun was fired in there.
What's that? A bullet hole? Oh, yes. You're talking about what the detective uncovered in the wall yesterday, I presume? It was obviously a rotten panel eaten out by a woodworm. No doubt he didn't find an actual bullet.
That's the hole in this argument.
Sadly, I was unable to arrange for the crewman to be brought back to Britain with me. But obviously, if a gun had been fired in my cabin on the night in question, as the defense implies, I would have been arrested on the spot and would have never made it to Britain in the first place.
Oh, that's me, right. Very true. The witness's logic is sound. Since no gunshot was heard from the witness's cabin on the night in question, we must assume that the witness is telling the truth.
I'm glad you've seen sense, my lord.
I know Kazuma's already admitted to taking on this incredible assassination plot, but even so, hearing it confirmed by somebody else is still a real shock.
It's unforgivable. Using Kazuma-sama's feelings to manipulate him into agreeing to such a despicable plan.
But I think Kazuma manipulated Judge Jigoku too. He completely double-crossed him. And that is also hot. He's going from like 10, 11 to like 12.
Oh dear. It's hard not to see that stroke of brilliance on Kazuma-sama's part.
One way or another, though, Gregson ended up dead. I really think that the murder must have happened aboard that steamship.
I mean,
Judge Jigoku must be lying.
I know I shouldn't let my emotions cloud my judgment. But you must destroy him, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, ma'am.
Kill
All
him.
right. Let's take a look at some of our evidence that we found on the steamship. So let's see. We have the evacuation drill. Following departure from port of Dunkirk, all crew members were assembled for 20 minutes. I wonder if that's when it happened. Let's see. Remember? I mean, it doesn't say what night it is, just on the evening in question. When does it say that the... Before the ship arrived in Dover, 10 p.m., the drill will take 20 minutes. So on the night in question, a member of crew was not on duty outside his cabin at all times because there was an evacuation drill. I just almost said assassination drill. There's too many big words here for Elmo. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Jigoku's cabin. However, we can be sure that, contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times.
What?
I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st.
What? Where did you get that?
It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember.
Sherlock Holmes again.
Yeah, that's what most people say. According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m. for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse were to gather on deck for an evacuation drill.
All crewmen were away from their posts?
And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Judge Jigoku, you had ample time, ample opportunity. I'm just fucking making up words right now. You had ample opportunity to commit the crime. I got too into the moment.
Objection!
A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Ryunosuke.
Why, thank you.
But that it amounts to nothing.
Fuck you! Why?
The chat says, I love when characters voiced by Lemur just have the word what as their only line, and it sounds like she just forgot what happened in the game. Truly. Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin. He could be lying.
Yeah, I was going to
KAZUMA.
say, like, okay. I think every
Because he's
single
a judge,
murderer
doesn't
we've
he?
seen has said no, they didn't commit the murder.
I didn't do it. Okay. Unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false. You have decisive evidence, Maverick? Your accusation is nothing more than conjecture.
Very true. Well, counsel, I keep forgetting that I'm covering for Mana.
Okay.
Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Shigoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it. Because the defense has the evidence to prove it. You will present the evidence for the defense at once, counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in Jigoku's cabin on the 31st October? I have this small component that I've been trying to shove in your face for so long now. Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday. What is that? The crown of a pocket watch?
A pocket watch?
And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part. It can't be. Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill in the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku.
Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, young murderer?
Still not a murderer.
Objection.
Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. Stop complimenting us, because you immediately backhand us afterwards.
I know.
And your argument sounds entirely plausible. At first. Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
But rather like this pocket watch, it's full of crap.
What?
And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year.
Sorry?
Mana's still trying. If I had known what it would result, that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I thought I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world of your ridiculous bombast.
Okay, well now you guys are just being mean.
Yeah, bitches.
I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony.
I'm texting Mana back.
Okay. I think we're actually gonna end after this line. We're gonna let him say his dramatic thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, like, we are at,
Yeah.
Oh, my computer also unplugged itself. Wow, I love that for me. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, kiss and tell, you'll notice the pitfall in which you've stumbled.
All right, and with that very dramatic line, we're gonna end here for tonight. So, next stream is Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. If you are celebrating American independence tomorrow, just, you know, use firework safety. Don't blow off your fingers. It makes it really hard to type then. And then you can
be smart. Yes, be smart. If you are lighting off fireworks, make sure that you have a bucket full of water or a hose that is turned on and ready to go nearby. Someone who lives in forest fire country, please, for the love of God, be smart with things that catch on fire. Also be courteous, because there are people and animals that aren't going to be having a good time tomorrow night. So, you know, stop at a respectful time.
Mm-hmm. Any other announcements?
No.
All right. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you are on Twitch, I believe I did not check whether the link to our YouTube channel is still below, but if it is, yeah, you can go see our other stuff. And if it's not, it's somewhere, so go find it. You can go see any of our previous games that we have played. If you are watching this on YouTube later, like, subscribe, and all of that so that you can get updates as to when we upload new stuff. Thanks so much for hanging out,
Yeah.
all, and we'll be back on Sunday. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.